To do three-dimensional plotting in GeoGebra, I'm using the GeoGebra app here through the Chrome browser, and the same process would apply if you were using GeoGebra standalone. The only difference is you have the File, Edit, View menu here. On the GeoGebra app, we have to come over and take the drop-down menu, go to View, incorporate the 3D graphics view. I don't need the 2D view if I'm going to be doing three-dimensional graphing, so I'll just go ahead and uncheck the graphics view. Over in my input bar, I'll go ahead and enter in the equation, and it needs to be in terms of x, y, and z. If you have called your variable something else, you'll have to reconstitute it so that it's in terms of x, y, and z. So if I just enter in 2x plus 3y plus z equals 10 and press enter, the plane should show up in 3 dimensions here, and of course I can turn this thing around by clicking and dragging. I can also zoom out, and I'm just using the wheel on my mouse to be able to zoom out if I want to change the dimensions. Also, we can do a couple of other things here. We can always change the options on the plane if we don't like the color. And one thing that we should really be aware of when we're graphing is that we may not have the proper window settings. So if we're plotting something, for example, let's say this was 100x plus 300y plus, I don't know, 2z equals 1,000, then actually at the point x equals 0, y equals 0, we're actually going to get, if x equals 0 and y equals 0, then the z value, which is the coordinate along the blue vertical axis extending upwards and downwards, would be, well, let's see, if x is 0, y is 0, then z would have to be equal to, oops, my equation didn't store in there, let me change that back. So just in the event that you have something really big, you have a really big vertical intercept, well, if x is 0, y is 0, then z is going to have to be, in this case, 10,000. So probably one of the things you're going to see is, in this case, the plane does appear, but it may not appear in the window, in which case we would need to zoom out considerably to be able to see that vertical intercept. And you can see that as I'm zooming out more and more, I'm getting closer to seeing that. And also, one of the things I can do is I can go ahead and drag the coordinates here. Then I can do this one in a couple of different ways. If I click this drop down, I can zoom in, zoom out. If I click Move Graphics View, if I click this this little, I don't know what you'd describe this box with the little arrows on it will allow me to, if I want to move vertically, in other words, I want to see below the horizontal plane, or if I want that to disappear, I can kind of change the dimensions that way. As well as if I click again and I can move this around, so if there's a different point I want to see here. And in the settings menu, you can kind of change some of the settings for the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. And for whatever reason, I'm not able to actually set my domain on this and range like I would in a two-dimensional graphing calculator, and I think that's one of the big limitations of this. Also, some of the things I can do is if I want to, kind of zoom out and I really want to see a certain portion of the graph, but I don't like where it's situated, then again, I can move my graphics view around horizontally or vertically to try to get the right view. So that's probably one of the problems that we encounter if we're dealing with equations that involve large coefficients and constants, is when we decide to graph the function, we might not be able to see it at first. So try doing a little zooming and rearranging in order to be able to see that. And then I can obviously click on, highlight the plane, right click on it, plane A is selected, go to Object Properties, and I can change things like the color. I can also change the opacity or opacity, however you want to call it, how opaque it is. And also I can do different things that are probably a little bit more advanced than we'd want, but you can do a lot of different things with this. So hopefully that's been helpful. Same process applies for GeoGebra, the standalone version outside of the Chrome app, and that's how we would do some plotting in 3D.